We're going to hear about some investment strategies from a network of marinas that's been growing quite prolifically over the last few years. So I'm here with Dean, the Commercial Director at D-Marin. So could you give us a little overview, I suppose, of the last few years, some of the growth that you've experienced and that's taken place?
For sure, yeah. I mean, our ambition is to enrich your yachting experience, and to do that you've got multiple levels where you have to invest. You've got to invest internally on your systems, on your the way of working, to make sure you've got consistency in every area. You need to invest your time in finding the right premium locations to invite to join the network, and that's something that's been quite we had quite a 23. We had 10 marinas join, so we're now in the integration phases, and this is where this platform really comes in.
So I'm thinking, like, you have a way of owning and operating a marina that you know really works, and then that forms a bit of a template for the others to join. You mentioned clusters and groups of marinas because you understand the customer experience. What things do you focus on ready to apply to the next marina that joins the network?
Well, in the integration, we do things slightly differently. So we have internally the D-Marin way, and the D-Marin way is obviously what we're looking for in terms of service levels, behaviours, product, service experience, etc., and feedback because of our MPS passion. So we have to kind of bring that into a new property. And that'll start with system integration. So we'll switch people over from whatever software they're using. We'll plug them into our platform. That platform means that we've got visibility of all the activity. That platform also enables a customer feedback loop of MPS. And we can see how we're doing in terms of our impact on that particular property.
And would you actually benchmark against other properties as well? So you say, well, it should be performing on this level?
You might have seen our Power BI template. I don't know if I've ever shown it to you, but in Power BI we have templates of how all of our businesses are working at all the various KPIs. On those KPIs, there's a benchmarking tab.
Right, there we go.
So actually we don't do the benchmarking so much, but we've set the system up to do the benchmarking for us.
Right, beautiful.
So any variables, anything that's not slightly on point, not if the needle's just going over to red when it should be green, then the system's alerting the guys even before us, because they're using the systems every day, and they can see how they're benchmarking against others.
And will that be quite granular? Would it be able to say, look, it's this part of your marina that isn't operating perfectly well, rather than just an overarching, it's just a marina that's not doing too well? It'll be this task, this service isn't quite up to scratch? Yeah, full drill down.
Right, okay. We can go right the way down to the customer, the day the customer inquired, what we didn't do well, what we did do well. We can see all of that in the transaction history, or the feedback history that we've got for the client.
Wow.
So headlines come through Power BI reporting. You can see how you're benchmarking it against others, and then you can drill down into your day-to-day activity. It's a live system. So we can check now what we're like for occupancy, what we're like for MPS. All of these things can be, excuse me, checked really, really easily. It works everywhere. So I can do it at home, I can do it in the office. And of course, more importantly, the teams can see it.
Right. And I found something really interesting when you were talking about new marinas joining the network that are in a different country. And so you might have a different culture, a different way of operating, different rules and regulations.
For sure.
But you can actually apply the same strategy or something very similar to that new location.
Our absolute desire for all of the locations we have is to keep the character of that location.
Right.
They're special locations, they have their own special geography, they have their own special flavours, the way they're constructed, the way the people behave inside. Our value add, if you like, is actually bringing this consistent D-Marin way into play, which guarantees that they're never letting their customers down. That they've got the choice of cruising options, that they have sensors where they can see the data on their boat. They've got the guarantee of a kind of group comfort. You're going to have a trusted partner throughout the whole network. But keeping the local flavour, 1,000% important.
It's the way to go. And there's been so many marinas joining. I've seen plenty of announcements the last few years. Let's talk about investment and how you approach that.
Okay, so we kind of adopt the reverse pitch strategy.
Right.
whereby...
What's that? How does that work?
Okay, so reverse pitching is where we have an idea of growth in mind.
Right.
Some of the things that are part of that growth, we're not specialists at. So we might have to take a third party, a startup, some other company that's got a specialist idea. In fact, SensorBoat is a great example.
Right, okay, beautiful.
Yeah, so SensorBoat's a great example whereby we're looking for a solution and then we look to find a way of working with that company in partnership for their benefit and for our benefit.
So you looked at someone like SensorBoat, specialists in data and sensors.
Yeah.
That's not really your niche as a marina owner
not at all.
operator. So you found the specialist and going, well, let's work together on this. We've got a huge application of it in what we're good at and what we do.
Absolutely.
But let's lean into your expertise, partner, and go from there.
That's the point, the expertise,
Right.
completely, yeah. And the same with the properties. You know, we're called the selection of premium marinas, and that's because we have to select. It's not just any marina that's going to join the D-Marin group. There might be things that really don't suit what we're trying to do. So we have to try and select, and that's a reverse pitching process as well, because everyone's thinking, okay, well, can we do business with this group? Is this something that can suit us as well? Which means we have to be quite dynamic in our approach.
Yeah, really transparent, and also just making sure it's actually going to be mutually beneficial rather than just forcing the D-Marin way on locations where it doesn't quite work. It doesn't have a niche.
It has to be complementary. Everybody needs to win. This is a win-win situation. If we're not winning, if the other partner's not winning, then we're kind of setting ourselves up for a bit of a problem in future.
Yeah.
So we want to avoid that at all costs.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much for your insights, Dean.
You're welcome.
Everybody, if you enjoy content like this, make sure you're following here to see plenty more of it. Outside of that, I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.